Yo. Function and flow in the building right now. What's up, everybody? What's up? Hope all is well. Hope you enjoyed last week. We were on last week and we talk about the fear and control of one's self.
That was a dope show,
And
bro.
we were in that joint. We were in that joint all the way up to the end. We were in that joint. Then my man over here started talking about the Joker.
I think it threw
me off. Wait, where you going with this? Gotta throw me off, but I love it though because sometimes we need a shaking, man.
Oh yeah, we do.
Sometimes we need a shaking. Sometimes we don't. Some people don't know how to get out of a jam, and when they see somebody else in a jam, they're like, "Oh man, they recover pretty well."
Yeah.
So maybe I can utilize that same kind of method. You know what I'm going through.
It's about options, bro. It's about seeing things different ways. And the Joker, I know it threw you because it was like a different way of seeing things. But I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the show, you got to go back and listen to what I was talking about the Joker. He was fully alive in that moment I described in that show. I'm just a little bit of go back and watch. Listen to that show.
You got to watch it. I love movies, and there's a lot of symbolism in movies. Man,
a lot of symbolism
that they got a cartoon out, man, about a little girl. Man, it's called Over the Moon or something like that on Netflix.
It's like anime.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan,
and it's pretty like they talking about the goddess and they talking about cosmology in the movie.
Yeah.
And what it is introducing kids to cosmology, and they put the dog in the sky that represents the dog. So it was a lot going on, man. But I ain't get off topic. But But last week was awesome. It was phenomenal. It was our first time we launched on YouTube, and I just want y'all to know this, man. Anybody who see our videos. We're not our podcast. We're not. Hold on, because I forgot to do something. Hold on. Okay. Look. This is what it is, right? So we're new to this, right? And it's a lot going on, right? So I'm gonna do this one more time. Yo, this is Function and Flow. Right now because I forgot to turn on Spotify, man. I forgot to start recording, man. So we knew.
Raw.
This is raw and uncensored and unedited. We want to let you know how we get down for real because it's so many people trying to do it all like together,
perfect,
right? And they don't ever show you the in between stage. They just show you A to Z. They don't show you what happened A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You get the G. It was like, man, I had to stop for a couple months because, I was broke. Right. I lost my job. Right. My wife had to get a job. She had to hold it down. It's a lot that go on, man. So, yeah. So we back. We back in the action, but for real. The fear and control of oneself we talked about last week was awesome. And how we just want to give you a little summary of what went on is sometimes we look at fear as this big thing, but fear itself has been diluted.
Yeah.
And, it's just like you put, I don't know if you guys used to eating snow cones, right? And snowballs, you're eating snow cones and you get the snowball juice and you put water in it because it's too concentrated and it's too strong. So you dilute it a little bit with water and you make it more than what it is. And that's sometimes we do with fear. The concentrated factor of fear isn't as big as we think it is, but it's stretched out over time because of everybody adds on to a story or an experience that scared you into staying stagnant opposed to going to a climax. And that leads to something, right?
The fear leads to something.
That leads to something. The fear leads to something. And you know what? Last week's show is kind of connected to this week's show.
It is. We didn't plan it that way, and I got inspired, but it was definitely. You want to talk about what we're talking about today?
Yeah. So today we're talking about a maze of things, right? A maze and how you think. And when Tavante hit me with this word, the guru, it's kind of gave me a tongue twister. I've heard it, I've seen it, but I never said it. And so before we got started, I was like doing practices like, labyrinth, labyrinth. So because I don't want to be up there, like tongue tied, but and I love it because it puts your ego down. You know what I'm saying? It put my ego Now, like, yeah, you don't know everything. And when you find out more information, you found out how much you don't know.
Right, exactly.
So Labyrinth is what we're going to talk about today. And Tavante got a lot that he wants to speak on that, man. And this is the guru. And it's going to be today, it's going to be kind of like an interview type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I'm going to ask you, know what I'm saying, some things about it because I want to learn today. Today is a learning and we can feed off each other's energy.
Exactly. I'm learning too because I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to discover something new in our conversation that I hadn't thought about. And I'm going to say, man, you know what? I thought about this. And
right.
But I got some talking points behind me to keep us kind of like on a, we really don't plan these conversations, but there were some things that I really want to hint on because I want this to be like a tutorial and a way for you guys to see, like matching up your life with this illustration and seeing these parts. And then if you want to follow through these steps and experiment, I love experimentation because it doesn't mean you have to be committed to anything.
Right.
You just try it out. If it works for you, then you use it. If it don't, you throw it away. That's what life is about. It's about experimenting, start trying things out. And if you like it, then it's great for you. It's good for you.
If you like it, it's yours.
It's yours.
If you don't like it, just give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it, man. So let's clap it up for yourself for being here. Clap it up for yourself for being here. And like I say, every Sunday, Ra is out, baby. The sun is shining. And today is a new day. Are you ready? Or are you ready? Like, for real. Get your mind ready because we're about to invoke some thoughts, man. We're about to say the things that you've been thinking about, the things that you have been afraid to say, and we're going to give you another way and another opportunity, another perspective on thinking, all right?
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about the mental labyrinth. The mental labyrinth.
Yeah.
And as we get into it, I'm going to pass it over to my man, the guru, Tavante, and he's going to dig in with it. And we're going to just feed off each other's energy. And I know there are some bullet points that he's going to get into.
Yeah.
And some topics that he's going to get into, but this is very, very cool. And I researched it after he told me about it, and I was like, wow, you know, this is pretty deep stuff, man. So get into it, man. Like, why first of all, why? What led you to this?
So me nights I called my father, and we have these deep conversations. My dad is like me, but an older version of me. And he said to me, he calls me Tay. He said, Tay. He said, I just look at black folks and it's like we're in this proverbial loop. You know, we do this, we get this result, we get frustrated about it, and then we go back and do it again. And we do it over and over. And this is this is so like timely because right now we're at the beginning of a new election, right?
Yeah.
Every 4 years. Right. Every 4 years, we're on many different sides. We're either on the side of like, fuck politics. I don't want to do with it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk, you know, or we either on the side of, if you don't vote Democrat, you traitor.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or some of us is like, you know what? Democrats haven't done anything for us. Why would we do that? There's many different perspectives on this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree with either one of these, you know. It's not important. I even share my viewpoint in this right now. I just want to kind of like I want to move some things around. I want to have you question this cycle that we're in. This is just one of the cycles. There are many other cycles we're in.
Right.
Many other cycles we're in. And so he was like talking about this whole thing, and he was saying we're in a cycle. We always doing this, right?
Right.
And I thought about, man, Dad, that's like a labyrinth. It's like you get into this thing, this puzzle, or like a labyrinth. Imagine that being like this big, like 3-acre plot of land, right? And you got these tall green bushes that really is just a maze. You know, it's manicured perfectly. You get in, you think it's beautiful, right? You walk into this maze, but you can't get out.
Yeah.
You know? And you just you kind of you lose the idea that you're even in the maze. You've been in the maze for 30 years.
Yeah. You
don't even know you're even in the maze. The maze is now your world.
Yes, it is, man.
And it's now your existence, and you found some sense of happiness there. But you know, inside there's this little itch that says there's more than this 3-acre plot of land that I'm in right now.
Right.
If I get out of this maze, I can experience more. but we can't get out. Now, some of us, we try really hard to get out. We go and do lots of research. We go to all these different discussion panels. We read tons of books,
right.
And we feel like we get close, but as soon as we get close, the goal gets moved. Mm-hmm. It's like the goal, like, borrow your water. Like we get close to getting the goal, and then someone just, and we like, I was just there. I almost had it, and then it was moved. You know? Mm-hmm. And why is that? That was the thought in my head. It's like, we're in this maze and we can't get out. How can I? Now, I'm not saying that I've gotten totally out of the maze, but I have. I have. And I'm just saying that getting out of the maze doesn't mean you have to know everything. Mm-hmm. Let me put that out there out front. It doesn't mean you're an expert. You know, you're not talking about the idea of experts. We don't really think that there is really there's a place for experts, but experts don't know everything. They know what they know what they know, right? I'm not trying to be an expert. We're just trying to share our experience. Mm-hmm. And my experience is that up to this point, I realized there's really no point in life. It's all about happiness and being happy. You know? Mm-hmm. And part of the maze or the rat race, as we know it as, is chasing something, hoping that when we get there, then we'll be happy. But we're never really happy. Right. You know? So how can you get there? How can you get out of the maze? How can you get to a point where the things around you, they don't matter? What you're driving, who you're with, the physical things, they don't even matter anymore. It's all about the feeling. And we have a show coming up. It's talking about, we're going to talk about that. It's all about the feeling, you know? It's all about feeling good. Yep. Right? That, in my mind, is like, if I can feel however I want to feel, there is no maze. Right. Who can control me? How can I be controlled? Mm-hmm. How can I feel lost when I know I'm always found? You know? And that's in a sense, I mean, comments available, anything you want to say. Maybe you feel like that's not even the maze. Maybe you think that's not, I'm open to any discussion, but where I'm at right now, I feel like I made it out of the labyrinth. And so maybe this is part 1 to part 2. Maybe later on in 5 years, I'll say, you know what, that was another labyrinth I found myself into. And this is how I got myself out of this labyrinth. But where I'm at right now, this is the labyrinth.
So do you think the labyrinth that we is controlled by our one or two things? Is it controlled by our mind or our spirit, or is that interchangeably the same? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say the latter. I think they're interchangeably the same. I think so. One is like we come from this place, right? Usually right versus wrong, right? Right. There's an evil and then there's a good. We think about God and devil, right? Right. And so when you start to go and you start to go and ponder around or walk around like trying to get yourself out, you still have those ways of thinking. Right. Right. And so you always looking for the good and looking for the evil. Well, I come to a point where there is no such thing as good and evil. It's all duality. Right. And both are good. Sometimes the evil leads me to finding good. Sometimes the good leads me to finding evil. They're not really evil in the sense that they're detrimental or they're destructive. It's only my perspective about them that leads me that way, which leads to our first point. The first point is to get out of the labyrinth, you have to be able to redefine what's going on. So redefining is the first point. Someone would say, I'm going to use an example that I think that people will be maybe easy for people to grasp. It's not extreme. I can use the extreme example. I want to use that example. But someone, so a convicted felon, someone maybe gets caught up on wrong place, wrong time. Right. They're in jail, and now they have their convicted felon, right? Now they will say, oh, this is bad. Okay. But when you define things as bad, that's what you usually see, right? Right. You can only see what you know, right? Which is going to hint to the next point, but I'm going to hold that for a second. You can only see what you know, what you define as. If you define things as bad, that's what you see as bad. That's what you see as bad, right? Whatever you define it is. Your definition is literally the rose-colored lenses that you see out your eyes, and you play this picture as you are the director of this picture. But now you're directing unconsciously a negative video,
right,
based on bad,
right,
right. But then when you say, I never really want to work for anyone anyway, and I could be a business owner. I mean, I can't get a job as a convicted felon, maybe depending on where you're at, but I can always start a business.
Right. So this is good because the fact that you're talking about redefining. Wow, look, a great example of something being redefined is the family.
Family structure or something?
Family structure. 20 to 30 years ago, the LGBT community was considered something abominable.
Yeah.
Throughout the globe.
Yeah.
Right? Especially the United States. It was called down low brothers, in the closet, people not really, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, now the family's been redefined. Transgender has been widely accepted everywhere.
Everywhere.
So there is no more being in the closet. It has been so redefined that children now have the ability and the right to change their sexes. And it's accepted. Bro, you on to something right now. So
yeah,
now it's not considered bad.
That's not considered bad.
Or wrong.
Right, exactly. Now, the thing about it is that to be on the side of evolution, which is where we want to be, we always want to be on the side of good, right? But good is slow. It's slow. It's good is the idea we talk about with limitations of culture. We did a show on the limitations of culture,
right,
and how we're always trying to have these predefined,
right,
places where we feel safe. But to be in that safe area is not to evolve, because now you're moving at a snail's pace, and you're left behind.
So you're saying if we play it safe, we don't even have the thought to evolve. We just want to be right here and stay in a comfort zone.
Right, to be in a comfort zone.
So that even further us into the labyrinth of this maze is because
see these eyes.
We keep doing this like this. We keep doing this like we're not even trying to get out. We think we are, but we're not. We're still resorting to this. It's like hearing a good preacher, right?
Yep.
That preacher hits your good spot.
Yeah.
Next week you're in a bad spot. You need to hear another preacher.
You
think you're going higher, but you keep hitting this wall at the same time where you feel like you need somebody else to come in and give you that dose of hope.
Yeah.
That's interesting, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm chilled because of the energy and I'm feeling right now. The excitement. Like I'm vibrating at a high level because I'm just, this is like a great conversation.
Yeah.
And I know it's challenging a lot of folks who are trying to say, so you mean to tell me that the kids redefine their sexuality is not a bad thing? I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying is instead of us being stuck on being good or bad, let's think about, well, what ways can that lead to something that's bigger, better, more evolving, right? Like, in what ways could this be beneficial? And some of y'all may be having a hard time with that. I'm not saying that I'm not either. I'm having a hard time with that myself too. But I think it behooves us to challenge our thinking, to think outside the box. That's what this show is about. It's about thinking outside the box
and discussing the hard questions. I mean, the whole topic of kids being able to say, I'm a girl and I'm no longer a boy, I'm a boy, I'm no longer a girl, is hard for everybody, especially parents who've been raised differently, and I'll say and from the 70s to the 90s, it's a different dynamic on our moral psychology and our standards mentally on what we were raised as and what we are presuming to be right or wrong. There's a whole perspective of how we think differently from the kids now, because we wasn't given options.
Right.
It was clear and cut dry. Don't do that. Period. Nobody told us about the beautiful things. Now there is this cornucopia of things that's happening in the world today with technology, with fashion, with entertainment, everything that's being widely accepted. And now these children see this. Like my kids, they are more tech savvy than I was at their age because they all have tablets, and touch screens, and it's the TV is the internet now, like a smart television. Right. Like you don't even need a computer. You can just cast it on your TV now. Right. Or you can just hold your phone. So the dynamic of things have changed. But what's really good about this conversation is when you think you are at a fast rate growing to get out of something, you come right back to this dependent of comfort. Yeah. And you're in a maze. Jay, what do you mean? What are you saying? Every 4 years, the medium, which controls the mind of the world, not just America, the world. Yeah. Those who are plugged into television and all of the news outlets, their mind is constantly being trained to think we need a president. Yep. I want y'all to look at this show. Me and my wife have been watching this show called Designated Survivor on Netflix. If you don't know about the Constitution, you can learn a lot by watching that show. For instance, this is not to get off subject, but this is what I want you guys to understand, that when we vote like for somebody of the free world, that it don't really affect your personal life or anything. Nothing's going to change. Like, you're broke now, whoever you vote for president, you'll still be broke then. If you think that they're going to change your financial situation, they're going to make your situation better, you are delusional. For real. But the president, he gets made president and he's trying to go into a state. Okay. But the governor says, no, you can't come to my state. Now, this is the president of the United States of America. All right. But the governor has so much power where the president can't even send his aide or his cabinet into their state. They can't even come off the plane or they'll be arrested or detained. And I was telling my wife, I said, this is what our people who are in this matrix don't know about it. They don't know about this maze, is that the president is not as powerful as we think he is.
And that is a perfect segue to our second point. So our first point was redefining a problem. Let's taking ourselves outside the idea of what is right, what is wrong. And maybe the wrong isn't wrong, but a transition to the new place. Right. And maybe the right wasn't right, but maybe kept us stagnant, like Jay so efficiently did his illustrations, keeping us in the cycles we thinking we're right, and we're stuck there. Right. But when you can rethink things, right? And you can see the possibilities, now you can see with new eyes. In the Bible, Jesus talks about seeing with thy whole eye. He wasn't talking about your physical eyes. He was talking about your spiritual eyes. He was talking about your third eye.
Come on, man.
He was talking. He said that let thy whole eye be open. He said something about the light, full of light. And they call the third eye the light chakra.
Come on, man.
Because when light is present, nothing can hide. Right. So when you can see with that, right now you're saying, okay, well maybe the illustration we used earlier was I was a convicted felon. It wasn't even my fault, but maybe I wanted that, Maybe I planned it out, Maybe I wanted to be forced in this corner where I had to pursue another means of taking care of myself, not being a job, not having a job. And I can pursue being a business owner, and I don't need to go into the system of working for a person. So I'm seeing the possibilities now. Yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Seeing the possibilities.
Exactly.
I'm redefining what was bad,
right?
The possibility was good, and the opportunity. And now I'm seeing with new eyes. And now this has opened up a new pathway, a new journey for me of entrepreneurial stuff. And that's one perspective being working for someone, right?
Right.
When you work for someone, you have a certain mindset. What you think about is safety and security. You think about coming and collecting a check. You don't have to worry about, I mean, you do some low level problem solving, yeah. But most times the system is already created for you. System is created for you. All you have to do is follow the directions within the system. Okay. Yeah. But when you are a business owner, you have to create the system.
You create the system.
You cannot take the mindset of an employee into a business owner. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
And I told a friend of mine this morning, I said, it's like people trying to cook dinner while in the living room and the dinner is in the kitchen. You can't do something if you have this mindset in one place, but the mindset is really going on in a total different place. You get what I'm saying?
I get that. It's just like, we call it multitasking. And one of the things when you ask a person in an interview that, and it's a physical job, you say, can you multitask? Can you do several things at once?
Right.
And you think, well, how can I do several things at once? Like, how can I be over here and over there at the same time?
Right.
Just think about it. All right. So we're not saying, can you sweep and mop at the same time? But while you're sweeping, you can have your mop water running.
Yeah.
Prepping everything, right?
Right.
But sometimes we get so jammed up into where we start mopping and we didn't even sweep first.
Right.
So as we're mopping, we realize there's trash on the floor. And that's the same thing as, how can I cook in the living room? The kitchen is over there, but I'm over here in the living room. Right? You so jammed up. Jay, where you going? Look at our whole, I'm going to go back to the election thing. We're so jammed up and we're thinking, oh man, let me vote for the president. But you're not understanding who runs your state and the governor is going to affect the new laws in your state, where you're not even going to be able to travel like this. You're so worried about the presidency that you're not understanding. They just changed laws in your state where you have to get a certain type of license to carry a gun.
Yeah.
So you can't openly carry in Illinois. It's concealed. So if you go and get a open carry license in Texas, that don't apply in Illinois.
And that's where is that you have to be in that space. So let's use an example, because I may be a little bit abstract for some of our viewers. We talked about the refining. We're seeing with new eyes. Okay, so we haven't gotten to this part is not really more so about the action oriented yet. We're seeing things, we're noticing things that are different. So for this example, let's talk about, now you say you're a convicted felon, you can't get a job, you're going to be a business owner. Now you're seeing with new eyes, right? So now your experiences, you're in this world of studying what it means to be an entrepreneur. You learn about finances and you're learning about systems, right? Because you got this, you're going to sell hot dogs, right? But even a hot dog stand needs a system.
Right.
Whatever you do, you're going to need a system as a business owner. A system may be simplistic, it may be complicated, it may have multiple pieces, it may have small pieces, but you still gonna need a system.
Yep.
You're gonna need a system of how to reach your clients. You're gonna need a system of how to take in money. You're gonna need a system of how to follow up with clients and to get their business over and over again. You need a system about how to cover your insurance, or how to make sure you don't get stopped by the police, and then you have to have a work permit. You got to meet those things. You need those systems in place.
Yep.
And it becomes this thing of like, people looking at them like, what are you doing? I'm building my business, but you're not selling anything. But I'm building my business. They don't understand, because they're employees, that there is so much work that goes behind the scenes that they don't see. When you go into McDonald's, you don't see their system. You know why? Because the system is so good, you don't have to see it. If you saw the system, it wouldn't be a very good system.
Right. But hold on, but you know that system.
Yeah, because it runs well.
Because how it runs. So the way that McDonald's system runs, it's not the same way that Burger King runs.
No, not the same.
It's not the same way. And that's just like getting a new job. You get a new job, and let's say it's the same profession, right?
Yeah.
Same position, but it's a different culture. And they don't put their hot dogs on at 5.
No.
They put their hot dogs on at 6. The other system, they put their hot dogs on at 5. But why do they put their hot dogs on at 6? Because how things work over here. And so you can't, you got to understand how the system works.
Exactly.
But if you don't understand how the system works, you still end up where? Where do you still end up?
Back at the mindset, you frustrated, I can't do this business, and you back an employee again. So that's how it works, you know. So as you start transitioning into this idea of thinking about things differently, you have to, you're gonna have to almost give yourself to this process.
Right.
Give yourself over to this process. When I started to rekindle a relationship with my father. Okay, many folks would tell me, Tavante, when you talk to me, my head hurts. I'm like, I know how that feeling. I know how that feels because when I talk to my father, I used to have the same feeling. He would talk so high in frequency above my head, I would have to like jump to try to reach these concepts, and I couldn't do it, and it made my head hurt. You know. But what happened what was going on really was that I was holding on to where I was, trying to gas to where he was,
right,
and it wasn't working. It was frustrating the hell out of me.
You have to let go of the concepts.
You got to let go of those concepts. So that if you want to see with new eyes, you have to fully give yourself to the process of what this may mean, to be open to it. And then it becomes viewable to you. You step out of the living room into the kitchen. You're no longer in a separate room. You're in the room where the action is happening in the moment. And you're watching, the third point is you watching it unfold. You've seen the patterns, right? You saw this happen, and you say, oh, I know what's going to happen next because I've given myself to this process. And I've analyzed this thing. I know how this works now. You start gaining confidence in this new way of thinking, right? And people are, people still saying what they want to say. He's bad for doing that. He was good for doing that. And you start thinking like, you don't say it to them because you know it's a waste of energy. There is no good and they're bad. People are just doing what they're doing. It works for one person. Why in the hell do people do bad and get rich? You know why?
No, that's how we look at it too.
It works for them.
But that's how we look at it. We look at it like, man, that's good. That's good. It's because they know some truths that you don't know.
But we see them as bad.
But we see them as bad because that's how it's painted. Because we don't know something that they know, we see it as bad. Like, hey, Trump don't pay his taxes, but he do pay his taxes. How do we pay his taxes? It's called tax laws. Doing his employees who pay the taxes for him, and he write it off. They're paying the taxes for him, but we don't know different tax laws. So I get into this thing like, man, that's not right. Jay, your children think you don't do right things, but you say, look, I'm the parent.
Yeah.
I do this because I'm making the best decision for it in the long run.
Right.
So we all look at things like, I don't know, man. I don't think that's right. Because we're holding on to a concept.
Yes, this is concept.
And when you said seeing with new eyes and watching it unfold, in order to watch it unfold, you got to see it with a new eye.
Yeah.
And when Jesus said your whole eye is full of light, he also connected something to the disciples. When the disciples was walking with him and Jesus was preaching, right? They were mad. They said, this is wrong. This guy over here preaching these people and laying hands on these people. They're not with us. And Jesus like, as long as they're doing the will of the Father,
what does it matter?
They good. Why y'all leave them alone?
Exactly.
Let them go. So they had they had to let go of this idea of only Jesus can do this. Because even Jesus said, greater works will you do.
Yeah.
Than I have done.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in this maze, right? Seeing with new eyes. Until you see with new eyes, you're gonna watch it unfold.
Yeah.
We're holding on to this thought of something coming to help.
Nothing's coming. It's not coming.
We're stuck in a mental labyrinth because we're holding on to a concept. And so they will deem you as you a hypocrite. That's what you call it? Heresy.
I was gonna say that.
That you just know you can't because you're holding on to a concept that you were taught that this is the only way to do this.
Yep.
This is the only way that this should go. There's no other way. And you're stuck. And you'll never see it unfold, bro. You gonna keep going the same cycle. It's insanity.
It is insanity.
It's just I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Don't change. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting till we get. I'm just waiting till we get a black president. Wait till we got a black president. Hold on. We got a black president. And what did that change?
Nothing. You think having a black female person gonna change anything?
What did that change?
It's not gonna change anything.
Jesus said this, man. He said this. And I love how you gotta really read the word, man. You gotta really read the Bible, the Son book, in a whole different view. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and everything else shall be added. And then he turns around in Luke 21 and says, you looking over here for the kingdom, and you're looking over there from the kingdom. But the kingdom is within you. It's within you.
It's within you.
And when you understand that it's within you, understanding your eye and seeing with new eyes, you're going to then watch it unfold within yourself.
So what is he saying? He's saying, seek your happiness. Whatever you think is happy, that's the kingdom of heaven.
Yes.
Your happiness.
And even Paul said it. Everything is permissible. Everything is permissible, but not expedient. Meaning, what's good for you?
It's not good for me.
It's not good for me. But that don't make it bad. Exactly. That don't make it evil. That don't make it disgusting. I don't do well with ice cream and cheese. It gets me all mucus and all this. You may eat ice cream and cheese and you fine. Am I gonna call you an evil man for eating ice cream and cheese? No. I remember they just said we was going to hell for going to the show. We was going to the show. You can't go to. You can't do what the world do. You can't do. Do you eat because the world eat? Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, we stuck to these concepts, and it keep us in this roller coaster of amaze. And I looked up the Labyrinth and some of the Greek mythology about it, and it was this guy who had trapped this beast, and he created this maze to trap this beast to kill him. Killed the beast in the maze, and he could hardly find his way out.
He created
something that he created.
I know.
You create this world and this concept that you hold on to, that you can hardly find your way out. You say, Jay, how? You just said we were given this. No. Just think about it. You said we can redefine something.
Yeah, we can redefine.
And we can see with new eyes.
Yeah.
So that means anything that we were given, we redefined it.
Yeah.
We see it with new eyes. I don't know. Did you
I didn't get to this point.
You didn't get to watch it unfold.
I did watch.
Okay, watch it unfold, right?
Yeah.
See with new eyes and watch it unfold. So sometimes we redefine the same concept. You hear what I said? We redefine the same concept, thinking we're going to go to a higher place. It's the same concept.
It just feels, it's like kind of like we on preachers today, like doing that, but it's that's our experience though. It's like you go to church and you get a word and you like, oh, I feel so good. It's the same damn concept he said last week.
It's the same concept.
But it just feels new. You know why? This is perfect segue because when I originally shot Jay a message and I said, Jay, we should do the show on a mental labyrinth. I was sitting just having a conversation with a friend of mine this morning, and I'm like, that's part of the trap. Yeah. This shit ain't mental. It's so emotional. It's all about.
Yeah.
It's like having someone say to you, it feels good to be around you. It feels good to be in your presence. And they're looking for the feeling in you, but not realizing the feeling comes from them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again. I think some
Mm-hmm.
that miss.
That's good.
It's like
right.
someone saying,
I caught that, bro.
It feels good to be around you.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't understand that you just a reflection of them, and all that you're doing is reflecting their happiness. So what they're really looking for is themselves. But they don't know their own power. Mm-hmm. They're feeling good and they love the feeling, but they don't know where the feeling comes from. So they're looking for the feeling in the preacher, in the choir, in the church, in the religion, in the money, in the family, in the happiness, or not happiness, but in the conditional things, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't know the kingdom of heaven is within them.
It's within.
They don't know they have the power. And so they're always going to be like, when I do this, I feel good. But just think, if you could emotionally sense, we look at this world, the physical world, right? The physicality of this world, right? The world is not physical. The world is vibrational. Mm-hmm. It's nothing but energy around us. Things appear to be whole, but they're full of holes. Things are wholly. Molecules, atoms, everything is wholly. Nothing is totally solid. Nothing is solid. If you can imagine this world as being more sensitive to the feelings around you, sensitive to the communications that are being said under the radar between your husband and between your wife, right? Mm-hmm. Between your kids when they're unhappy. If you can sense those things without looking for those things, wouldn't you be very powerful? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you have more insight? That's what it is. It's seeing into things. Wouldn't you have more insight about your life? If you could be more sensitive to yourself and what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy, right? Mm-hmm. And you could be more submissive to that and say, you know what? I know I feel like I have to go to work, but I'm taking the day off.
Right.
Because I got to take care of myself. Wouldn't you be more happy? Wouldn't these be better for you? That's what we need to be. We need to be to the place where we understand this world is not about us mentally dominating. That's what we've been taught. We have to mentally dominate. There is good and there's evil. We are human beings, and everything below us is less than. We have to dominate the beast of this world. It's not about that. That's a mental thing. Mm-hmm. It's more about us being emotionally in tune to ourselves and to this world around us.
Right.
And when we're in tune to ourselves emotionally, we're out the labyrinth. We're out the labyrinth.
Yeah, I look at the emotional energy. That's the feminine energy that's being abused.
It's powerful, man.
The feminine energy is what's being abused throughout the world today. It's not anything masculine that you're using when you're upset. That is the feminine energy because you're at your most vulnerable moment.
Exactly.
And the feminine energy is so strong that it causes you to kill to protect it. We kill to protect how we feel. We don't kill
for any sense of good.
We kill to protect how we feel.
Oh my God, so good.
I feel that we should have this land. So I'm going to kill these people because I feel they shouldn't have all this land to themselves.
They feel the same way though.
But they feel the same way. So are we fighting for the land, or are we truly fighting for how we feel about the land? Where is your feelings derived from now?
Yeah.
The mind. Yeah. The spirit. This is a spiritual war. And the enemy lives within, just like the kingdom is duality. What's above is below. What's within is without. It's the same difference.
Same difference.
And until you see it with a new eye and watch it unfold, you will never know the truth.
Yeah.
And this is when Pilate, he asked Jesus, he said, "What is truth?" He said, "I'm the truth," right? And he asked Jesus, "What is truth?" Jesus never answered that question. And that stood out to me, because a man that what stood at the statue of Jesus, and he went through preaching this truth about the kingdom, he never answered that question. And something innately in me answers that and says, okay, what is truth? Whatever your truth is, whatever you come into the realization of knowing about yourself is truth. What's true for him?
It's not true for you.
It's not true for me.
Yeah.
But I am truth.
Right.
How, Jay? I am made in the light of likeness. Of likeness.
Right.
It's truth.
It's truth.
In my mind, there is a conscience. In your mind, there is a conscience. But until you understand how to innately discover oneself with the light that's illuminated in front of you and seeing it and saying, wait a minute, I put myself in this matrix. I can get myself out of it. What was stood out to me is that the man built the matrix to kill the beast. We build a world to kill the negativity in our life. And so sometimes the world that we build, we find ourselves trapped in because we're so consumed by what we see and forgot we're the ones that built this whole thing. We can get out of this.
Exactly. So here's what you said, bro, was a great illustration. And it's a perfect segue to you talking about truth. What's the last step? Stepping into your truth. Stepping into your truth. What do you find is truth? So as a kid, well, no, as a teenager, a young adult, I had a conversation with my dad. My dad's always inspiring me, like in many ways. But he told me, he said, Tavante, you chose me and your mom to be your parents. And I was like, at this point in time, I was getting along with my mom somewhat, right? We have these bickers with our parents, right? We had these bickers with our dad. You know, if your dad was there or not there, your mom was present or not present, and she was cursing your ass out because you take the trash out, whatever she was doing, you didn't like. I told him, I was like, there's no fucking way I would choose you assholes to be my parents. You know what I'm saying? This is my relationship with my dad. I just talk to him very honest. My dad never tells me, don't talk to me like I'm your father. My dad has always been a very just open individual. I just love my dad. And then I thought about it. He knew it. He knew there would be one point in time that I would say to myself, he's right. I thought about how I learned. I thought about my desires. See, we all came to this place for a desire, for a purpose. But the purpose wasn't to like achieve something great, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't about that. It was really to just grow and have fun. And whatever you define as your way of growing and having fun, some folks are going to be here and then they're not going to do anything. They're going to, be for 5 years and commit suicide and they're going to go to the next life. But that was their plan for being here. But my life is so perfect. I mean, because I'm seeing with new eyes. I redefine good and bad, right? I went through that process. I went through seeing new eyes and I started watching how like my desires are unfolding. And I started realizing that my dad was right. The people that I've come in contact with, even Jay, everyone that's in the proximity of my life was planned to be this way. It's so perfect. It's like I know that I don't learn like everyone else. Some people learn with consistent direction and guidance. I learn best when you leave me the fuck alone and you let me be by myself. And I go through the period of being lonely and I feel like I'm alone and I feel like I can't do something. That's when I light on fire. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need my dad and my mom. They got me here. They did their part. You know what I'm saying? They did their part. They got me here. And once they got me here, I didn't have the weight of them trying to tell me how to live my life because they weren't there. You know, my mom was there, but she worked a lot. My dad wasn't there until I was 14 years old.
Right.
So I had all this space and time to imagine. And if you don't know me, my imagination is like unlike anything else because I had all this alone time.
Right.
And alone time is nothing but becoming all one. Alone just means you're all one.
And all parents are guardians of galaxies. Period. The movie Guardians of the Galaxy. I sat down and I watched a movie called The Interview with God or something like that. And my mental consciousness started to talk. And my spirit is saying that we are walking galaxies. That we are a representation of the stars that we look at. All we see is our reflection. We look up in the sky. Just think about it. The sky is nothing but a portal above us. It's an open realm. The sky is not the sky. The sky is an open realm. Down here is a maze, right? That we created. The earth is nothing but a maze that we created. And we're traveling from one place to the other, looking for something we call happiness. We reach a point in our life where we become these millionaires and billionaires, but there is no completeness to that. We become complete when we're here. When people grow old, they're at a sense of humility where their ego does no longer matter. And then they transition.
Yep.
They no longer worried about their weight, how they look, pleasing anybody, being mannerable. We say, man, old people, they just say what they want. They're no worry about. They don't worry about their ego. They don't care about their hair being combed or any of that. They reach a place, but you sit down and you talk to them, and they have this profound sense of knowledge and without reading any books.
Quiet strength.
And when you're in their presence, you don't want to talk. All you want to do is listen.
Exactly.
Because you see that they don't have an ego, so you have no other choice but to put yours down.
Yep.
And then years pass, they transition. But the conversations and the nuggets they put in your spirit, it's like, wait a minute. How is he able to?
Yeah.
You've seen something with new eyes, you watched it unfold, and you started to step into the truth.
Yeah.
And realize everything that I want, I can create. Everything that I've done, I have created.
I've created.
Everything that I am in, I've built. Your parents are nothing but guardians of the galaxies to help you. Because as you grow older, you're not the same as you was when you were 9 years old. You're not the same as you was when you were 6. The person you was begin to change because you evolve and create this world.
Yeah.
And it's like the Truman Show. If you ever seen Truman Show, how everything was created.
Yeah.
And he thought this was real, but it wasn't. Everything that you think is real, it's not real. And everything that you think is not real, it's just what's real.
It's just what's real. It's so crazy.
You say, I have a crazy dream, it's because you created it.
Yeah.
You say, I'd never create nothing like that. We all have crazy thoughts we don't tell each other about.
There's things about us that we don't even know about ourselves that we haven't let in yet. And then later on, we say, I'll never do that. I never do that. That's what they say. I would say never. Because really, if it's a desire that's percolating within you, then that's reason to say, let's redefine that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Excuse my sweaty armpits. let's redefine that. You know what I'm saying? Let's start to look and see that with new eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Let's watch that unfold. Let's see where that goes. Because it could be that hint to that new truth. You were trying to find stuff out of the labyrinth, and what happens? We quickly say, don't do that. Mm-hmm. And what we're doing is we're cutting off options. Mm-hmm. We're cutting off pathways out of the labyrinth.
Yeah.
We think that we're protecting ourselves, but we're not.
We're not. We just jumping from one place to another,
and we
one
still stuck.
maze to another maze, and to another maze until you realize this is all a game. So let me change it up here.
Yeah.
I'm so concerned on changing the physical,
right,
and I leave this abandoned.
right.
And it's not until you change this that things start to change. Excuse me, on the outside, and you're like, wow, I just thought of that. And this happened. You ever had that thing you like, I just thought of that.
And then bam.
And bam, it happened.
Or you have a question, and then 5 minutes later on, you get your answer.
You get your answer. You know why? You created it.
You created it. Exactly.
And sometimes it can be scary if you don't, if you're not familiar with it, and you think people they talk about this thing deja vu. There's no such thing as deja vu.
Right.
No such thing. It happened before. You're just now remembering it. You've been here before. You've been here before. I asked Monty, I said, do you ever remember not existing?
No.
Do you ever remember not existing? Do you? Come on. Do you ever remember not existing? No. No. When you don't know you're dreaming until you wake up. So when people die, do you think they know they're dead? I think on a whole different spectrum, man. Like, do they think they know they're dead? Like,
of course not. They don't think they're dead. They just think they're probably going somewhere else.
Somewhere else. They're probably somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because when I'm dreaming, man, I'm like, this is some real stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've been having some crazy dreams, and I'm like, I wake up like, man, that was a dream. Like, it just felt so real.
Yeah.
And I will never forget. I put on them virtual reality glasses, man, and played that game, bro. It changed my whole life. You're like, what? This virtual reality game changed my life because I'm sitting in a seat, but my mind is telling me I'm on a roller coaster. So I'm like this, like I'm going down, but I'm in a seat the whole time, bro. Watching unfold, step into the truth, see with new eyes, redefine, right? Yeah. I'm in a seat the whole time. But when I put the glasses on and I seen it, it changed everything in my biochemistry.
Yeah. Because your body is responding to what it's seeing. And that's part of the trap, is that we think that we're going to get out of this puzzle by doing the same thing we've always done. But your mind doesn't know any different. Your mind can only measure, calculate, and analyze. It cannot think outside the box, because it is the box.
It is the box. And guess what? It's the true labyrinth.
Yeah.
Guess what the true labyrinth is? I'm about to mess you up. The body. If you look at the how the brain is, it's like these little mazes up here, right? And I say that because I put these glasses on and my body is doing all this.
Yeah.
I'm not even the body.
Right.
I'm the mind.
Yeah. I'm just in the body.
This is just an avatar.
It's just an avatar.
I'm just the mind. I'm the consciousness. Yeah. I am the soul, the soul and spirit. Hold on. I am the soul. The body has the spirit. You say, what? When the body died, it no longer has a spirit. My spirit is no longer in this body. My soul has been transformed to another place.
Yeah.
This is deep, bro. Like them points. We redefine, we see with new eyes, and we watch stuff unfold, and we stepping into your truth.
Yeah.
Not the truth.
Your truth.
Your truth. Bro, if you want to wrap it up, man.
So I enjoyed this show today. I want to hit on one point before we close.
Yes, sir,
I think this is, for some of you all said, man, Tavon, that was a lot. That was a lot. I want to give you one place to start. if you just watch your feelings, be aware of your feelings, because as we hinted to this last point, your mind creates the illusion based on past experience, right?
Right.
And so if you think that things are a certain way, you can't get past. It's like having a car that can go 2,000 miles an hour, but you have a what they call it, a governor. A governor on your car that limits, right? That's your mind. Your mind is limiting you. But your senses are not limited. Your sense of feeling,
they're not.
Your emotions, they are not limited. They're not limited. If you can just be aware of your feelings are like the navigation for, I'm on the path, I'm feeling good. Regardless of what's going on, you could be nowhere where you want to be, but you could be feeling good and you're good. Just be aware of your feelings. Just be aware how you feel sad. Just be aware you feel sad. Just be aware you feel happy. Just where you feel frustrated. Start redefining what those feelings are. Ask yourself, why do I feel that way?
Because your feelings can change everything.
Yeah.
Because it's energy and vibration.
Exactly.
You listen to some music, everything changes.
When Jay gets on here, he talks, he gets his energy up, that whole show skyrockets. Excitement gets me excited. You know what I'm saying? Man. It's all on feelings, though.
Yeah. And it's just like you listen to some music, and you like 1 minute you down, you put some music on, you like, oh, that's the jam, boy. And then you like, well, guess what started happening? You start getting some thoughts and some inspiration.
Yeah, get inspired.
And you jot it down, and you like, I'm about to start this business now, man, because
I'm feeling energy.
I'm feeling the energy, man.
Yeah,
I'm feeling the energy, and it's like, you know, when I first started my business, I get on, I'm like, I'm Chefy J, what's up, baby? Yeah, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? I got these meals, this, that, and the other, and then I kind of started going down. I'm always like, what? You gotta have that same energy. For the next, even though you probably didn't get a sale, you gotta have that same energy because people feed off your energy.
They do.
That's what makes comedians so great. Their energy. It's their energy, their stage presence, their energy. Comedians are amazing. Because man, you listen to you feeding off their energy. It's not even a joke. It's how they deliver the joke. I'm telling you. So the man came down and I seen the man. He came down and I tell you, the man came down and fell. It was hilarious. It's the delivery. Another person going, I seen the man and he came down and it was hilarious. You know, the man came. You'd be like, what?
Right, exactly.
It's the energy.
It's energy.
It's behind the energy, and like I said, man, the feminine energy is what rules the world. And this is what we try to protect. And this is also what we neglect. And until we understand how to see with our third eye and align our chakras and understand that we create the maze that we live in to trap the beast and kill the beast, which is the enemy. And we have to put our egos down and understand that we can change and exit this maze of thought.
If you want to. It's all based on you. It's all based on you.
Based on you.
So we appreciate everyone tuning into the show.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Week. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about next time, but man, if you have any comments, any questions, any
concerns. They just sound good to say concerns.
But yeah, we open to any, because I think that this conversation is a great one. And I had fun.
Yeah.
You had fun?
Yeah, I had great fun. It's gonna change the world, man. This conversation is gonna change how people think. I'm not talking about change the world and the way the world functions. I'm talking about the way the mind works.
Yeah.
It's gonna help change a lot of things in you and bring you to your truth. Yo, this is function and flow. We say the stuff you've been thinking about, man. So don't be afraid to think. We invoke your thought process. We disturb everything. All right? And we want you to think differently. we love you guys, man.
Yeah, love you guys.
Even in Singapore, man. Shout out to
shout out to the viewers in Singapore.
To the viewers in Singapore, man. Shout out to the viewers in the Bahamas. Shout out to the viewers, you know what I'm saying, out there in Trinidad,
Jamaica.
All of, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to all the viewers everywhere across the globe. We thank you so much. This is me, alter ego, the man of Africa, and I come to tell you that I love you so much for the function and the flow. And this is the character one day I will put on the show, and you will hear him. So, that was me, guys, Chevy J. So, if you think we had a guest, you know, I'm just kidding, man. We like to have fun, man. That's what we do. But we love you guys. Function and Flow, Facebook. What's up? I see y'all out there. We haven't been on there in a while. But we love you guys. Straight up.
All right.
Chevy J.
The Guru. Peace.
Peace.